Hello, and welcome to another episode of Drawing on Fridays, the Landon Huber Experience Show. In this episode, I'm going to be finishing this piece, which I started in episode 3. And what you're going to see is me taking the drawing from this stage to a more finished pencil drawing, and then at the end, I'll be showing you the final inks. I won't be inking on camera though, because with that I like to slow down and take my time, and it's not something I want to bang out in a half hour. But for the purposes of this show, you will see me take what was begun in episode 3 here and sort of finishing it up and taking it to the more finished pencil stage where I feel like I can start inking it. So let's set the timer for 30 minutes. Set timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, counting down.
And we will begin. Alright. So, what needs to be done here? Well, if I squint my eyes, I can see that. When I ink this stuff in here, a lot of that's just going to go to straight black. Maybe a few indications of line work, but I don't want to overcomplicate it too much there. So, and here, what if that kind of was a little bit skinnier there? Yeah, that's kind of cool. And there is a fair bit of experimentation that kind of goes on with me and the drawing process, and that's just what it takes to get it there. Kind of got a little bit of a new setup here. I don't know if you can see that. I gotta be honest, I don't really know what to talk about, so I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here and hoping that rather than you guys being too bored by what I'm talking about, you're just watching me draw. You see I'm kind of giving some of those scales a little bit of definition. His eye maybe could be a little bit cooler. Maybe a little bit more like dark lizardy stuff going on in there. You know, the lizardy stuff. Define some of the drippage a bit more. Maybe a little shadow to that tongue. So I'm kind of thinking in a general way that the light's kind of coming from above, so his arm here would be casting a big shadow on his leg there. But then this leg also going back into space would be casting more, would go to almost silhouette. Just be going in the background with all this just kind of being dark, shadowy stuff. And then defining a bit more in here. If I want to indicate a little bit more bulge on that arm, I'm adding a shadow right there. Same kind of thing. Because it's through the shadows that forms are indicated, and giving the thing a three-dimensional quality. You know. You could do just kind of, and I've seen styles where they just kind of do a general kind of line work, and then take care of everything in the coloring. But I like trying to do a lot more shadow work and in the line work itself. I just think it looks cooler. But there are more than one way to skin a cat. There are. Is that correct English? I don't know, and I don't care. Okay. So the time I'm filming this episode is coming up on Christmas time. It's getting closer to Christmas time. And maybe I should talk about some of my Christmas memories. Remember one year, me and my younger brother, we used to always, on Christmas morning, we could never sleep. And my dad was a fireman, so there was many Christmas mornings where we would have to wait until he got home before we could go in and open our presents. And when we were just kids, it just felt like a million years we had to wait until he got home. But yeah, I remember one year, literally, I didn't fall asleep all night, and we weren't a rich family, but my parents did try to give us a good Christmas. You know, some years were better than others as far as, you know, just getting things and presents. But one year, me and my brother, must have been a good year because we snuck in. We weren't supposed to go down the hall to look at Christmas presents. We were that was against the rules. We were supposed to stay in our rooms, and one year we broke the rules, and we were very careful, and we were very slow. It was almost like the way that we walked down the hall was like one of those Edgar Allan Poe stories of like the Telltale Heart. It was like, it took us like a half hour to open the doorknob kind of thing, you know. And we very carefully snuck down the hallway, and we went in. We got there, we were checking to make sure nobody could hear us, you know. And then when we turned on the lights, we just went, you know, because there was like, in our minds, it just seemed like so many presents. Like the whole living room was filled with presents, you know. And my mom had done a good job at wrapping them, you know. But I think at that time we still believed in Santa Claus, so Santa was good to us that year. But now that I've told that story, maybe I should tell the other story. No. No, I don't need to tell the other story. I'll abbreviate it. I'll give you a clue that year I didn't get what I wanted. And in my ununderstanding brain at that point in time, I went into a depression. But, Christmas is about more than just presents. And, some of you guys out there know what I'm talking about. The spirit of giving is not the spirit of getting, even though the corporate world likes to capitalize on Christmas and every other holiday. It's good not to get too caught up in all of that BS. And just remember the things that are important in life, like family, friends. Helping those less fortunate. Remembering being grateful. Remembering your blessings. It's important. So, as you can see here, one more thing. I mean, there's a million stories, and I'm not gonna tell them all, but there was when I was growing up, it was like the 80s and 90s that time, early 90s, and they used to have on TV. They used to do this thing called the Santa Watch, right? And it looked like a little radar thing. It was going beep, 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 and you could see like this, and it would say like Santa is spotted in your area, and so when people saw that, they'd be okay, you need to go to bed, he's coming. And we totally thought it was real, like, oh, he's here. And then I remember one year I heard something going on outside, and I had thought that it was Santa's I thought that it was actually Santa outside on our roof. Because we did have a chimney, but it wasn't functional, so I used to sit there and wonder how he got inside of our house. How did he do that? And I would ask my mom questions like that, and she would just say, oh, well, he uses the door. So, he uses the door on houses that he can't get into the chimney. He just uses the door. Well, as you can see, it's getting tighter, and there's things that I may do in the inking though that you won't even really see here, but you'll see enough of the penciling stage to kind of get a gist for where it's going to go when I get to the inking stage. And stick around if I haven't bored you too much with my Christmas stories. And I will show you what the final inks of this piece look like by the end of this video. And I'll take a second to promote here. So anybody that doesn't like to hear some promotion, click away. No, just don't click away. Don't click away. But yeah, I have an Etsy store where I sell really cool t-shirts, and man, you guys should really check it out because there's some cool stuff there that you're not gonna find anywhere else, because it is my own personal Etsy store and my own personal artwork. And I bet you buy something cool that you like on there, you wear it around, you can give it to somebody as a Christmas present. It's most of it's Halloween oriented, although I'm going to be opening that up a bit in the future. And broadening it out a little. But it's a lot of work I put into these things, and I'm trying to get the ball rolling here. So I would appreciate, just head on over to my Etsy store. It's landonhuberart.etsy.com. I have lots of videos on this YouTube channel promoting it. And my prices are reasonable, and my shipping is free at this moment in time. So go check it out. And then another thing I'd like to promote is my music, because I'm also a musician. And I put out an album called Creature of Emotion about 10 years ago now. Has it been 10 years? Yes, it has. You should check that out. I was also in a group called Robots in the Zone. All this stuff can be found in the playlists section on this YouTube channel. Check out the playlists. Also, check out another cool thing, which are what I call art process videos, which are fully edited, showing from the beginning to end, unless it's a coloring piece only. But then you basically see the entire process edited to music of me creating a piece of art, and it's pretty cool. So they're called art process videos. I got 9 of them so far, but at some point when I get a minute, I'll go in there and make a few more of those too. They take longer to put together because of all the editing. But because of the editing, it's almost more like watching a movie than these Drawing on Friday shows, which are definitely more like more just live, just kind of a live feel. See, I put these pieces of tape on my board just to kind of gauge it so that I'm not moving like way over here or way over there. You can't see where my paper is, because I just set up the camera and go. But yeah, check out all that stuff. I guarantee you, if you like at all what I'm doing here, you're gonna like some of that other stuff too. I never do anything halfway. Now that's not to say that I don't have unfinished projects. I mean, I do. That's one of my... When you're a creative person, one thing you can tend to struggle with in life is, the fact that you have to do what you have to do to survive. And you have more ideas than you have time. and ability to accomplish. Maybe that's a good thing because it keeps you going. Maybe you'll live longer. But man, it's frustrating. You sit there and do the best you can, and then sometimes your art is maybe not as 150% or whatever the highest possible number is that you wanted it to be, and that can be frustrating. And if you like read a book on, see, I'm kind of just redrawing some of the stuff ever so slightly here. Read a book on creative people's life. Many of them have depression. I've watched some. I'm sure some of you have seen these recent videos with Jim Carrey that have come out in the last 10 years, and when I was growing up, he was just on top of the world. I mean, he still is. He's Jim Carrey, but he was so charismatic and so funny and so talented and all of the above, and big, huge star. But, and the same with other people too, like Robin Williams. I mean, I was sad. I was really sad when Robin Williams died because he was so important in my. I never met him, but I had grown up watching his movies, and he was, he was like Mork. He was like from another planet. So amazing and funny and talented and a great actor and comedian and movie star and all those things. And man, if there's conspiracy theories, there's different theories out there about lots of things, but if he did indeed die by his own hand, he had depression of some form, and he's talked about it. He's talked about his struggles with alcoholism and things like that. So, a lot of times creative people don't have the most, sort of straightforward, easy existences. They struggle. They struggle with things. Could be substance abuse, could be any number of things. Certain childhood traumas that never really get healed. So I need to have compassion for them and support, I feel. Yeah, it's coming along. And it'll really, get there when it gets to the inking stage. How much time we got left? We got about 6 minutes and 50 seconds left. Alright, so if you've stayed this far, thank you. I've switched to a mechanical pencil because these grassy things in the background, I'm wanting to more sometimes it's just frustrating when you can't just. Sometimes you'll lay something down and it's not right. You'll have to sit there and work on it, and then other times you just lay it down and it's right when you do it. So Those are less frustrating because you're just like flowing, you're just like boom, boom, boom. But the times when you're sitting there struggling, and it's not, again, I've mentioned this, I think, in other videos. It's the struggle is not that you can't just do something that will work. For me, I'm talking about sort of me personally here. But the struggle is, how do you get that magic? How do you just... I think a certain amount of like you can learn all the fundamentals, which are very important. You can learn all the rules, which are also important to know. So you know kind of what you're doing. Not important to always follow, but probably important to know. But you almost can't learn in a book that extra little something that sort of makes you like an artist, you know what I mean? The extra little something that's really just your brain at work, doing things, having fun, getting lost in little areas, or connecting the dots of an image to make it an interesting, compelling piece. I like I'm jumping all over the place with topics here, but right now it may look like I'm getting into minutia, but I'm doing things that do need to be sorted out here. This pencil, although it's a mechanical pencil, this pencil is actually 0.9. So on the mechanical pencil side of things, it's actually quite big. But I find I like working with it because it's big enough that I can sort of get the big shapes I want, but it's little enough that I can also lighten up on my pressure there, see, and get like detail. And what I'm really going to have fun doing with this one is the inking. And my apologies for not filming the inking, but some things Landon's got to do off camera. That sounded weird. What I mean is, when you have the camera going, there is a certain like sort of pressure you have to kind of speedy it, go fast, and you're a little bit conscious of it, and it's like, oh, I gotta be entertaining. But when that camera's off, the only thing you're really thinking about is the art itself, which is actually where your brain should be. This thing's dying on batteries. It's not very good. I'm squinting a little bit and just kind of cutting in shapes, fine-tuning the shapes a little bit. Well, where did my eraser go? Hey there. So my sorry if I stopped mid-sentence there. brain forgot to remind me that the camera shuts off after 30 minutes, so I kept talking and didn't actually film anything. So what I'm going to do now is actually, I'm showing you, you might have seen a little jump in how much got done here, but that's okay. You get the gist of it. I try to get these things as live as I can. You know, I'm trying not to just do kind of trick photography and things like that, because I want you to kind of see what the reality of it. And although that may seem a little bit slow compared to the boom, 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 boom world of Instagram and things we live in, to me it's a little bit more interesting because you see the actual real sort of time frame, and kind of maybe you can understand a little bit more of my thinking process. And if you can't, well, my apologies. But having said that, it is been a half hour. Thank you for coming by. I hope you guys have a good Christmas, and I'm going to wrap up the show for now and show you the inks next. Thank you for watching Drawing on Fridays, the Landon Huber Experience Show. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye for now. Hey guys, so at the last second, I decided to completely redraw his left leg from his knee down there. I felt there was just something too uniform and symmetrical before. And so I felt by redrawing it, it gave the piece an overall balance that really helped it.